Hello everyone, good morning. I hope that everybody is fine and doing well. That despite of this global pandemic brought about by COVID-19, we are still very lucky to continuously study and learn. This is Mrs. Brenda Bandarana G. Nukasa, your teacher in Cookery NCII. I hope that you will all learn from this. To start officially this video presentation, let us first have a short prayer. Let us bow our heads and feel the presence of the Lord. It is also necessary for us to know first the different classroom rules to be followed during the entire video lesson. So here are the classroom rules. First, be attentive all the time. Avoid distractions during the video lesson. Second, watch attentively the entire video lesson. Activities will follow. And the last one is to submit your performance tasks to your teacher through Messenger. May we have a short review about meat cuts. Let us see if you can still remember the previous lesson. We had discussed last time the basic preparation methods of meat washing. We learned also the methods of cookery meat like dry heat cooking method and moist heat cooking method. We are now in quarter 4. I am going to discuss with you learning outcome number 3, module 4, week 6, present meat dishes. Along with this are the most essential learning competencies. First, present meat dishes aesthetically based on classical and cultural standards. Identify basic principle of platter presentation. Describe basic principle of platter presentation and use basic principles of platter presentation. Select suitable plate according to standards in serving meat dishes. List ways on how to present food on a plate. Present meal dishes hygienically and sequentially within the required time frame. Enumerate 5 basic elements of plating. Explain 5 basic elements of plating. Apply the 5 basic elements of plating. At the end of the lesson, the learners should be able to identify basic principle of platter presentation, to describe basic principle of platter presentation, to enumerate the 5 basic elements of plating, to apply the 5 basic elements of plating, to appreciate the presentation standard in serving meat dishes. So, let us start our presentation with the basic principles of platter. Presentation must have 3 elements. The elements are: number 1, centerpiece may be an uncut portion of the main food item. Slices or serving portions of the main food item, arranged artistically, and the third is garnish, arranged artificially in proportion to the cut slices. So again, the 3 elements are centerpiece, slices or serving portions, and the third, garnish or garnishes. The second one is the food should be easy to handle and serve. So one portion can be removed without ruining the arrangement. So what do you mean by this? Though the food has been partly consumed, it is still presentable. Simple arrangement are easier to serve, more likely to be still attractive when they are half demolished by the guests. Next is attractive platters are made of metals, mirrors, china, plastic, or woods, presentable and suitable to use with food. Fifth, it must look attractive and appropriate not only by itself but among other presentation on the table. How to present food on a plate. When you are plating food, the goal is to create a dining experience that tempts all the senses, not just the palate. When food looks appetizing, the body actually produces more fluids that aid in nutrient absorption, so you might even say the beautifully served food is more wholesome than the food that doesn't look appealing. To achieve restaurant quality presentation, start with brightly colored, well-cooked food, layer the food, and play with contrasting colors and textures to increase its visual appeal. Finally, garnish the plate with flavorful or spices to take it to the next level. Starting with a beautiful food. Number 1, avoid monochromatic color scheme. A plate of food looks most appealing when there is a high level of contrast in colors. When you are planning meals, think ahead about the colors you want to feature on the plate. You might not be able to represent all the colors of the rainbow at every meal, but challenge yourself to have as much color as possible. If you are about to serve several light colored foods like grilled chicken and mashed potatoes, adding a serving or 2 fruits and vegetables is a fantastic and easy way to add pops of color. The richest greens, oranges, reds, purples, blues, pinks, and yellows on your plate probably take the form of fruits and vegetables. If you are not sure on how to add color, utilize garnishes. Nearly any savory dish is well served by sprinkling of pressed chives, parsley, dill, or mint. Lemon and lime wedges are welcome alongside poultry and seafood dishes. Second, bring out vegetables' brightest colors. The way you cook your vegetable has a lot of bearing on the overall visual effect of a meal. Lightly steam instead of boiling. Steaming vegetables makes them look appetizing and flavorful, while boiling creates the opposite effect. Roast or saute them with little oil or butter. Roasted or sauteed vegetables look quiet, appetizing when they are allowed to caramelize a little in oil or butter. Third, sear your meat and let it rest. Many meat dishes look most appetizing when the meat has been seared. The sight of a stick or piece of grilled salmon with a brown, crispy sear will make your dinner guests' mouth start to water. In addition to searing your meat, you should let it rest for several minutes before cutting it. This allows the juices to absorb back into the meat so that they don't end up running all over the plate. There are exceptions to the rule of searing your meat. For example, if you are serving braised beef, you will have to think of creative ways to make the meat look appetizing. Even though it doesn't have crispy crust, serving it with sauce is a good way to add visual interest. Fourth, cook fried foods carefully. Underdone or overcooked fried foods are difficult to present to an appealing way. Fried foods can look beautiful on a plate, but it is important to fry them well and have a plan for dealing with the oil, so it doesn't match up the rest of the dish. Cook fried foods until they're golden brown, then let them drain on a plate, lined with paper towels to absorb the extra oil. Otherwise, the food will leave streaks of grease on the plates. Fried foods often continue browning a bit after they have been removed from the hot oil. Number 5. Take texture into account. Texture and color go hand in hand when it comes to how appetizing food looks on the plate. If your food looks too oily, too dry, mushy, dough, or otherwise difficult to chew and swallow, it won't matter how perfectly colorful it looks. Take pains to cook food so that it comes out to the right texture. Okay, number 6. Experiment with interesting shapes. Cutting vegetables in interesting shapes can make the simple becomes special. You can cook and serve vegetables, desserts, pot pies, and other foods inside unique shape dishes to create attractive shapes. Number 7. Plating it with care. When in doubt, use white plates. White plates don't compete visually with the food you are serving. They provide contrast, making colors appear brighter and textures more interesting. If you have set of special plates with a pattern or a certain color scheme, it is fine to use them. Just make sure they complement the food you are serving instead of buying for attention. Don't forget to take the rest of the table into consideration too. Cutlery, glasses, and linens will enhance the overall appearance of the dish upon the table. Visualize the finished plate. Consider how to present the main portion in relation to the side dishes. Consider what it will look best on the plate with the other elements of the dish. Consider also how to get best impact. The appearance and symmetry are all affected by whether the food is sliced thinly, thickly, or left whole. Okay, number 9. Limit portion sizes. Only fill about 2/3 of its plate with food. The rest of the plate should be left empty. The negative space will provide contrast with the food, making it look more appetizing. If the plate is loaded with food, the food itself won't look as visually pleasing. Keep standard serving sizes in mind and aim to serve just the right amount of each part of the dish. As a general rule, half of the food on a plate should comprise of vegetables, 1/4 meat or another protein, and 1/4 starch. Start plating food in the center of the dish and work outward from there so that the food is centered in the middle of the plate. Okay, number 10. Follow the rule of odds. Having an odd number of elements on a dish is more visually appealing than having an even number. It creates the impression that piece of food is being framed by the others. Keep this in mind whether you are serving different types of food or more than one piece of the same food. For example, if you are serving scallops, serve either 3 or 5 instead of 4. Number 11. Play with different textures. Creating a texture contrast is a good way to draw the eye. Too many soft or crunchy foods on a plate are unappealing, but a combination of both is delicious. Different textures harmonize to create a pleasing dining experience. Leaving one of the elements out would result in a less appealing dish. To quickly add some crunch to a dish, try topping it with some crushed roasted walnuts and almonds. Number 12. Layer foods to add height. It's common to see food layering in restaurants, but some cooks do not usually try it. Adding height to a dish can take it from ordinary to stunning. Do not be afraid to show off your culinary skills by using stacking and layering methods to make your presentation more professional. An easy way to start layering food is to serve the protein on a bed of starch. For example, serve a kebab on a heap of rice, grilled swordfish on a pile of mashed potatoes. Aim to make foods look bigger, not smaller. Flip up your salads. For example, instead of smooching them down, create a little crosshatch stock of cooked asparagus instead of presenting it in a one flat layer. Number 13. Use sauce wisely. If you are serving curry, stew, or soupy casserole, you might want to drain the food on its sauce before serving. Then pour on just the right amount when you plate the dish. That way you can control the amount of sauce and use it to make the dish look decorative. Okay, number 14. Keep up with food styling trends. Remember that styles change even within the space of a few years or even months. So keep up to date by checking out cooking magazines, cooking or foodie websites, and cooking shows for ideas. Number 15. Add appetizing touches. Use garnishes that enhance the flavor of the meal, no matter what you are serving. Make sure the garnish actually makes the dish better, instead of just cluttering up the plate. Number 16. Employ drizzles and swirls. Another way to finish food is with drizzle or swirl of a concentrated sauce or liquid. For savory dishes, this might be a small squeeze, a remoulade, pesto, or flavored oil. For sweet dishes, adding chocolate, sauce, fruit jam, or creme anglaise might be the most delicious way to add that finishing touch. Rather than just pouring a sauce over your food, consider putting it in a squeeze bottle so you can create pretty swirl or pattern. If you don't have a squeeze bottle, put a sauce in a plastic food storage bag. Cut a small piece off one of the corners and squeeze the sauce through the bag. Don't overdo it. The key is to add a touch of color, flavor, and texture without overpowering the main part of the dish. Okay, the last one, number 17. Make sure the plate is clean. Examine the edges of the plate for fingerprints and smudges. A great way to clean up the edges of a plate is to dip a paper towel in a cup of water with a dash of white vinegar. Wipe the rim of the plate so that no food residue or prints are visible. This gives your presentation a professional touch. The 5 basic elements of plating. Number 1. Create a framework. Start with drawings and sketches to visualize the plate. Find inspiration from a picture or object. Assemble a practice plate to work on executing your vision. Number 2. Keep it simple. Select one ingredient to focus on and use space to simplify the presentation. Clutter distracts from the main elements of your dish that might confuse the diners on what to focus on. Third, balance the dish. Play with colors, shapes, and textures to ensure diners are not overwhelmed. The presentation should never overpower flavor and function. Number 4. Get the right portion size. Ensure that there is the right amount of ingredients and the plate complements the dish, not too big or too small. Strike the right proportion of protein, carbohydrates, and vegetables to create a nutritionally balanced meal. The last one, number 5, highlight the key ingredient. Ensure that the main ingredient stands out and pay equal attention to the support. This refers to the other elements on the plate such as garnishes, sauces, and even the plate itself. Enhancement activity. Direction. Prepare and cook any meat dish available at home. Present the meat dish in a neat, beautiful, and creative way. Ask your family members to rate your output. Document your output and send it to your teacher through email or messenger. In rating your score, I will use the following rubric. Criteria: proper balance, use of color, shape proportion, use of garnish, overall product presentation. Plating is balanced with even eye-appealing flow. Color is complementary and eye-appealing. Incorporate variety of eye-appealing shapes appropriate for food items. Presentation is attractively displayed, shows creativity. 10 points. Balance attempted but needs improvement. Some color variety but needs improvement. Some repetition of shapes but variety is evident. Adequate but not outstanding. Presentation is acceptable and some creativity is displayed. 7 points. Evidence is limited or not present. Lack of variety. Variety in shape very limited or not present. Inappropriate selection of garnish or lack of or too much. Presentation needs improvement and lacks creativity. 4 points. And then the total score. Okay, for the evaluation, direction, read the following statements carefully, then choose the letter that best describes the statement. Write your answers on a separate sheet of paper. Number 1, how many elements are needed in presenting a platter? Letter A, 1. Letter B, 2. C, 3. D, 4. Number 2. Which of the following should be avoided in presenting food on a plate? Letter A. Monochromatic color scheme. Letter B. Polychromatic color scheme. Letter C. Using many colors. And letter D. Variation of 3 colors. Number 3. Which of the following goes hand in hand when it comes to making food appetizing? Letter A. Color and shape. Letter B. Color and space. Letter C. Color and texture. Letter D. Color and value. Number 4. How many portions of food should each plate be filled? Letter A. 1/2. Letter B. 1/4. Letter C. 2/3. And letter D. 3/4. Number 5. What is the general rule or standard serving size in plating? Letter A. 1/2 vegetables, 1/4 meat, 1/4 starch. Letter B. 1/4 vegetables, 1/2 meat, 1/4 starch. Letter C. 1/4 vegetables, 1/4 meat, 1/2 starch. Letter D. 1/4 vegetables, 1/4 meat, 1/4 starch. Number 6. In platter presentation, what is the uncut portion of the main food item? Letter A. Arrangement. Letter B. Centerpiece. Letter C. Garnish. And letter D. Serving option. Number 7. Which of the following is arranged artistically in proportion to the cut slices? Letter A. Arrangement. Letter B. Garnish. Letter C. Serving portions. Letter D. Slicing. Number 8. Which of the following is used in attractive platter presentation? A. China. B. Pan. C. Platter. And letter D. Plastic. Number 9. What is the act of serving or arranging portions of the main food item artistically? Letter A. Arrangement. Letter B. Garnishing. Letter C. Setting. Letter D. Slicing. Number 10. What color in a plate of food looks most appealing? Letter A. Bright. Letter B. Colorful. Letter C. Contrast. And letter D. Dark. Okay, your assignment. Read your module learning outcome number 4. Discuss how to store meat, how to utilize quality trimmings and leftovers in storing meat. Send your answer to your teacher through Messenger. I hope you learned a lot from this video lesson. Thank you for watching. Once again, this is Brenda Bandarana Gino Casa, your teacher in Cookery NCII.